Ah, the Wii. A console known for revolutionizing the gaming industry and a library filled with nothing but amazing games. Okay, I still stand by what I said. This is freaking amazing. So, today I'm going to be discussing the Wii, the history behind the console, the games, the good and the freaking awful, and why I've always had a soft spot for the Wii. I grew up on this system. I have amazing memories with this tumor, console. Even my favorite video game of all time is a Wii game, Animal Crossing City Folk. First, let's start off with what happened before the Wii. So Nintendo at the time wasn't really doing so hot, striking out 3 times in a row with the Virtual Boy, Nintendo 64, and the GameCube. Although, to be fair, I don't really consider the Virtual Boy a video game, nor do I consider it a console. I consider it, what's the word? An aneurysm. The Nintendo GameCube, while it beat the Sega Dreamcast in sales, it lost to the PlayStation 2 and even newcomer Microsoft with their Xbox console. Nintendo may have had the handheld market under control, mostly because there wasn't any strong competition for them. The console market was looking really rough for them. They needed something that would appeal to the casual audience and the hardcore gamers. Well, that's what they did. Now the Wii itself is roughly the same, has the same specs as the GameCube, maybe a little bit better, but it's very comparable to the GameCube. With that in mind, you would think, looking at its competition, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and how powerful those systems were, you would think the Wii would have lost that generation. First place is what the Wii got, significantly outselling the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. But why was that? Well, the one thing that the gaming industry always struggled with was the older crowd. And the Wii was aiming to fix that. You see, the older crowd, it was always hard to get them into video games. They were too complicated for them, they didn't understand them, they saw them as a waste of time. And the Wii helped fix that. Motion controls was the selling point of the Wii. You swung the bat in real life and it swung in the game. It's pretty simple. The Wii controls being that simple made things significantly more attractive and enticing for the older casual crowd. Because of that, the Wii was a massive success and it was an absolute juggernaut of the generation. And while the Wii definitely appealed to the casual crowd, there was still stuff for the hardcore gamers to play, and even at launch. The system launched with 22 games, and while the majority of them were... The 2 standouts were definitely Twilight Princess and Wii Sports. They had Twilight Princess, which was an absolutely fantastic Zelda game. Keep in mind, this was coming off of Wind Waker for the GameCube, which is a fantastic game, no doubt, but people at the time were not very happy with it. Nintendo at the time were teasing a more mature, gritty Zelda for like the longest time through a tech demo. People really wanted a mature, gritty Zelda game. And instead what Nintendo gave them was a PBS show. Now obviously we look back on Wind Waker now and we know it's a fantastic game, but people were not happy at the time. But Twilight Princess was exactly what they wanted. It was a very high quality, dark, gritty, mature Zelda game. While we're on the topic of games, let's go ahead and talk about the Wii's library. After all, the games are the meat and potatoes of a console, so let's talk about them. And I know the first thing that comes to mind when the Wii library gets brought up is the sheer amount of garbage shovelware. Look at this thing. This wasn't made out of love. This was made for a paycheck. But there is still a lot of quality on the Wii. Super Mario Galaxy is a big one, being the big, bombastic 3D Mario game for the system. It had a lot of hype and it lived up to it. Sure, it was a little bit more linear than stuff like Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine, but it was still a fantastic game with a really cool concept of being in outer space. A lot of Nintendo franchises got support on the system. Zelda, Kirby, Mario, Metroid, and even Pokemon, a series that's always been on handhelds. And sure, while previous consoles got them as well, it was still cool seeing the Wii get 3 Pokemon games and some WiiWare games on top of that. Now, to end off this video, I think I need to do something that's very fitting for the Wii. Something that, fits very well with what was going on that generation, something that pretty much every Wii owner did at some point.